and doing all kinds of shows for the people, and the people going to meet them, carry them aloft, masquerading. And he said the people of Sokpoe should link with the water river, because he thought there was something divine in the river, which gives us strength spiritually and strength physically. So I'll come to that. Then we had Julius Kumetiro. I remember the first Tortsogbe we had. Julius had the responsibility with the committee to be going around from plant to plant to award marks for drumming, dancing, and singing. He was very active and very strong. He started working after he finished middle school in Agabe as a Eworyi. He started teaching at Sokpoe primary school as a pupil teacher. He went on to do business, moved to Accra. Alice Comedora ran a lot of financing and a lot of encouragement. Ben Ali Awia is Alice's son. Jonas, Alice's son. Then Kwame Bam lived with Alice, also in Accra, also in big family. All of them come from an Sokpoe. And they were very strong supporters of Tortsogbe, and they contributed a lot of money. Bonyaha Ajalako, actually comes from Tortsogbe. Is held at Easter, but the committee should be set up by the end of August and going to start in September. You must have at least 8 to 9 months of work, creative work, thoughtful work before your Tortsogbe can be successful. And so he always pushed that to start there. Patience Eworyi, I remember she was a saleswoman. She sold the drinks that we got those days. She sold on the cloth, the Tortsogbe cloth and paid back. William Adamani was also a leg man. Then Adela Kaji, the man who used to perform on the grounds with the bones of elephants and lions. I always remember that man. After he died, nobody has ever been able to do that work. Dr. DKEEF doesn't come from Sokpoe. From Eworyi, but he got us some of the best guest speakers or guest of honors that we had. Mahama Idrisu, Anna Eni, and some top company officers who came as our guest of honor. They all came through the influence of Dr. Kam. And of course, he gave us donations very, very quietly. And he always attended the dinners at Hotel Cisneros. Ben Grover gave us Hotel Cisneros always free for the dances. Kwame Blood, by the way, my uncle, a lot of rounds. It is Ajo Awia from announcement, also a leg back. So now we go to the festivals. Most people think that Tortsogbe started, but the first festival was not called Tortsogbe. The first festival was called the Agazam, or the Sun Festival. It was conceived by the chiefs that, well, there's a new dawn in Ghana, we have independence, we have our own liberty and freedoms, we're running our own businesses, and so the sun has set. And therefore, let's have a festival that we call the Sun Festival. Take note that before then, we didn't have a homogeneous festival. We only had funerals, the traditional funerals, which were organized clan by clan over certain periods. So the first festival was at Easter also, 1959. Again, it was ideal because it covered the 4-day Easter stretch. And I remember I came with my parents, I sat to my mother. The festival started with a march from Sokpoe. The women decided to trace the Ebe connection to Yoruba. So they all wore Yoruba uniform, Yoruba attire. The long skirt, the wraparound was blue, bright blue. Then they had white skirts, white blouses, and they all wore gele. All the women wore gele, and it was a beautiful sight. So they marched from Bojonuke to the Tortsogbe Park for the celebration. And it was done plan by plan. So we had the Ezan celebrated as such in 1959, 1960. But even then we had planned competitive drumming, singing and dancing on Friday night, and then the procession of chiefs, a procession into the level of chiefs at the Tortsogbe Park on Saturday. And this was in tandem with the evolution of the Evers from the Yoruba Western Nigeria. So as I answer this one, now many people don't know that the Evers are mutated out of the Yorubas. The Ever culture, the way we drum, the way we sing, goes back to Yoruba. Even some of our names and figures, the Yorubas will say Lofa, the Ever say Alofa 400. The Yoruba language mutated into a language called Fon, F-O-N. If you go to today's Benin, or what we used to call Dawen, they speak Fon in Dawen. On the Ketu side, which is where we settled when we moved from the Kwara State and Ife. We settled in the Ketu area for around the year 1100. And then from there, we moved to the western side of the present Benin, an area called Tado, T-A-D-O. From four, the language mutated into two versions. It mutated into what is called Ajovia. And I have been telling my colleagues from Javier that it is not that Teniche told them when they got to Bojonuke, Javier, as people say. No, that's not it. Javier, you're the Sobina, Ajovia, two down. That neither Amorola, Ajovia, the Amoroy. I'm on a very rough. Ajovia, Adofi, Bate, that Ajavie, you're the day. Don't professional Ajovia, the group of Kakavia, a solid guy, even mixed, and let Beretato, Kakacha, Ajovia, who very then to the Ajovia, here, but Togo. And the designation that comes from Tobe, who the latest we know, Tobe, whose disciples were the ones who started speaking that language first time. Just like if you want to we talk about Agafa. The Agafas were the followers of Tobe Aga. So now we go on to page 13. Tortsogbeza. Now in 1960, it occurred to the discerning that an element of drama could be introduced into the festival to one, make it more exciting, two, link it to the historical migration of the people of Sokpoe, and then also connect it to the essence of the river that we live by. Because the Ezan was just a celebration on our own soil. But if we could link it back to where we came to stay, when we left Togo, some of us left a portion of Togo called the Kebe district, today's Kebe district. There were some living in today's Eworyi area. The people who settled in Tefle and the Javiers, and the Fujans, they live around here. But the Awologs, who were then known as the Zoi people, and some of the Javiers were living in the today's Kebe district of the Togoland. The war broke out. The first war we fought, we won. The second we lost. The third we lost. And so we were decimated. Some people took the hill, some went up north of Togo. Others settled in Clipper area. And then others had heard of the great river Amon. So they moved towards it. The Alolos were the first, and the Temiche. So when we got to Fievie, the Temiches were already here. But they were not known as Fievie. They were known as the Anausuma people. Their leader was called Anausu. So when we came, that group, and we came in batches, they gave us a land called Abokwenu. That's where we settled. One day, spiritually, I just asked myself, I've heard so much about Abokwenu, I've never seen it. So one day, I got somebody to take me to Abokwenu. It's a big, vast land, right now, very well developed in Sokpoe, center of Sokpoe. That is where we lived. And our leaders used to go to see the chief's children. And then when we came, the chief had died, and also had died. We had a few That's how it originated. So that was the trend. So Amaga Puon said, let's have a link. We have to thank it. So let's have a link in the festival. Then you have to go down over. You want to about Tortsogbe. You have to talk. Abele over the name. Is the fearless also who cross the Tefra people. They cross the Women people. Mafi Dover, they cross them. Mafi Devima, they cross them. All those people. They all those walls and so on. And historically, the Fievie will tell you is at the Lantern of the Lolo. He is the one they always saw. Anytime a group came and they had to be settled, he used to move around so he knew where there was empty land and he would take it there. So he developed the vision, So he went to the paramount chief and discussed it with him. The paramount chief was convinced, so they put it to writing and then they presented it to the Sokpoe Traditional Council. And the council thought it was interesting, so it was accepted. Then they had to send it to the Sokpoe Intelligentsia. So people like Fred Abdon and Henry Akufo and so on, they were all calling, to develop it into a full-blown plan that can be practicalized. And it was done. So they had a first one in 1961. And then it was being done every year until 1983, when as a result of the Rawlings chain, the difficulties of the 1981 coup, they decided to do it biannually. And then it was done biannually until about 2010, when the youth said they wanted annually, so they returned to annually. There was an evolution in the management in that most of the prominent Sokpoe citizens lived outside Sokpoe. They wanted to participate, particularly those of them who lived in the big town area of Accra. The children had gone to secondary school, university, and they had a role to play. They had contacts they could make. So it was decided that the committee should be split into two. The Sokpoe committee and then the Accra committee. So Sokpoe will actually have a central committee and sub-committees. The Accra group also had a central committee and sub-committees. They were all coterminous. So the two committees, the two sub-committees will meet, say, every 2 weeks or every month, they will agree to them. Then the central committee was combined from the chairman of every sub-committee, and they will meet in Sokpoe once a month. The chairman was always from Sokpoe, always from Sokpoe, because most of the physical work was done in Sokpoe. The vice chairman will be taken from Accra. So we had subcommittees like invitations and protocol, sanitation, entertainment, VIP food and refreshments, security, finance and resource mobilization, speech writing. It was necessary to have a gender and youth balance on the subcommittee. So we always had women, but there were certain things only the women could do. So we always tried to have a balance, so to speak. And also, you needed to have an age balance. You needed to have youth in it, because when you come to talking about canopies and chairs and sanitation, it's the young people who have the energy to go about and get it done. The medium of communication always was Tongue Ewe and English. The vice chairman and the Accra committee were most useful in raising cash and kind from individuals, but most essentially from companies such as UAC, GNTC, Lever Brothers, Karam, Ramon, UTC, the breweries, Ghana, Jihok, Accra Brewery, Kumasi Brewery, and Pioneer Tobacco Company. Pioneer Tobacco Company, in fact, came to sponsor the beauty packets, which we introduced some years ago. The Accra group usually led in inviting a top politician as an attractive guest speaker to be followed by the media and well heard and read. When you have a good Anna Eni comes here, the press comes. Mahama Idris, the press comes. President Mahama himself, the press comes. And your story will be well broadcast and it will be well read. And that is why I credit Dr. DKEEF. I only needed to call him and very often I'll call him about 10 months ahead of the festival itself. The Paramount Chief's welcome address must be delivered to the guest speaker about 2 months ahead of the festival. Festival day to enable him to research and write an appropriate response and deliver a support or sponsorship. It's very important. The Paramount Chief's welcome address must go 2 months ahead. I don't know whether this year's have done, because I proposed somebody to come this year as a chairman, it was accepted, and up to now she hasn't received an invitation letter. Speed, accuracy, spot on. You have to, with this kind of functions. Otherwise, you only do something which is wishy-washy. We used to bring the festival program in Accra, yes, as we also used to bring fabrics. These days I see a lot, the t-shirts, the napons, and so on. Those days were a bit different because there were shortages, but we always managed to get a lot of work from GTD, which helped us a lot. We got them at factory price, and we sell them at double the price. That brought a lot of income for the community. The Sokpoe group will handle sanitation, security, entertainment venue, local invitations, chairs, canopies, PA system, local publicity, and the interface with the chiefs, especially our clan chiefs. Ideally, the Tortsogbeza committee must be constituted in August and begin work seriously in September of each year. Ample time was needed for fluidity, to manage stress, and to deliver on all plans effectively and efficiently. Subject to relevance, stress, interest, and performance, committee members will change every 4th year. It becomes a bit boring when you have to be somebody organizing Tortsogbe every on and on for 10 years. 1250 is tough. I withdrew in 1993 because I actually broke down medically with stress. And the doctors told me I should get out of certain extracurricular activities I was participating, otherwise I would die early. They told me point blank that I was alive then only because my blood pressure was low, 110 to 180. You couldn't believe it. That somebody whose stress level was about the roof and low blood pressure. So I said, well, God is on my side. So I actually came to see Dr. Zokpoe with the medical report, explained to him, I'm sorry about it, I had to go out for this. So it's a job which demands teamwork. Everybody must play his role. Everybody must do well. Then there isn't too much pressure on one person. The dissolution of the Accra group in later years was premised on misunderstanding and misjudgment. I think But I think there ought to be a proper balance at all times because the leading human resources and material resources are in the Accra terminal axis. If you want solid sponsorship, you want this to come in that will give you financial advantage, then your Accra group has to be strong. So, what is the scope? The full-blown evolution, the Tortsogbeza scope into read as such. On Wednesday, these days, we'll have a medical outreach, which is good. It will continue on Thursday, and then in the evening we had a candlelight procession, which is good for creating attention. Friday is a crossing of the river by the chiefs. It's the most exciting, and I think it's very unique. I don't know of any traditional area in Ghana that does crossing of the river for its festival. There's none. It's only Sokpoe. So can I ask all of you to clap your hands? So Saturday, then we have the Deba of Chiefs and Peoples, the invited guest comes in, and then after the Deba, in my days we used to organize a reception for all the invited guests and the VIPs, plus the top chiefs to have a lunch. And then in the evening, we had a dinner dance. Sunday, joint memorial and Thanksgiving service and the widows. On Monday, we had a picnic. Now, the picnic could be split. And you can have picnics on clan basis, or you have a picnic that is centralized, like the one we used to have at the riverside, where then we can have cultural shows, and there's food to buy, there's entertainments, and it was lovely. Then there were certain elements introduced because of the various Tortsogbes. At one time or the other, they were not intrinsic to the festival, but we thought at that time that they would add a certain color and excitement to the festival, and in fact they did. We did a play once where young people were taught the play of the crucifixion of Christ, and we did it on the Tortsogbe Park on Friday evening. Fantastic. And then we got to know that there were certain Sokpoe girls and boys who were born to be actors. If they would be living in Hollywood, America, they would be top. But because they live here, the chances didn't come. We also organized sports competition for basic schools a week before Tortsogbe. Spelling bee competition a week before. You award good prizes. Then the central venue picnic with music, I've talked about it. Then there was once we brought stilt walkers from Osu across, stilt walkers. And all the kids in Sokpoe went gaga. But it wasn't repeated. We also brought masqueraders from Kwanyako in the central region. They came to perform. And we used to have a cultural group in Accra, which was attached to the Landhouse Accra branch of the Presbyterian Church, and they used to come and perform here. They were costumed, and there are so many costumes, they changed. Great group. Some of them were taken abroad, and they haven't come back. We used to have inter-clan canoe racing. We also used to have swimming competition. Then we had external sponsorship of the beauty pageants, competitive clan drumming, music and dancing. Then we used to have musketry for every clan. It was open, but since the chieftaincy disputes, there's been a clamp on it. So musketry is a bit down, chanting to the distance down. Feet washing in the river crossing, we used to do it in the old days, but now nobody has time to go and wash his feet and get rid of all the old sins and the old debts and ask for the river's blessing for the forthcoming year. We also think that so is such an integral part of Tortsogbe. To the extent that sometimes I get asked in Accra, they don't ask me whether I'm going to Tortsogbe. That's what they ask. So it's like it's a replacement term for Tortsogbe. But when you see the social dramas, they get tired after some time. They don't. So we have to do something about that. We have to integrate social in such a way that it will be the soul of everything. We will come to that. Then we also have the dampening effect of chieftaincy disputes on Tortsogbe. It's led to some delinquency. Ahadokwe, for example, I don't think they come to the park these days, or whether they cross the river, or who crosses the river for them. I don't know. Alolokweme initially, there was a problem. Wato also, a little bit of problem initially. 2017, 2018, thereabouts. Then we see their permanent. There's no substantive subject, so they always have somebody going to it. It's a little bit of a weakness there. Then one thing that makes Tortsogbe great is food and drink. Most people take it for granted, but when I was young, my mother was alive. When I come with my friends, about 20 of us, there's food. When I go to my aunties, my father's sisters, there's food. When I go to Sokpoe, there's food. My uncles, there was always food. But these days, there are some kids who go very hungry and don't know everywhere. For them, Easter, I don't know. I because I'm not only. Some people, they are not reaching out to their nephews and nieces. They've lost their fathers. You have to reach out to them at Easter. Show them love. Give them something. Give them clothes, food, drink. Come and serve yourself. I talk to a lot of young people, they don't want to come because of that. Then, of course, the merchandising. I think the merchandising this year is good. So, the Saturday dance venue changed from Gadagbe House to Hotel Cisneros for a number of years on account of larger space, better ambience, more reliable electricity. The committee made a running bus available, but subsequently the Saturday dance have been contracted out to 2 or more persons, with the committee charging a commission per venue due to earlier losses of old organized one location dance. But we want to look at it because you can use the Saturday dance to brand Tortsogbe. And give it a mark, and give it an image from a marketing point of view. When you split it and give it to individuals, you don't get that branding, you lose it. So you got to ask yourself whether you want to do it that way, or even if you do, how do you brand it in such a way that the Central Committee's name and logo is seen at the venues? We have to think of how we do that. Then we also have a problem with the ownership of the Tortsogbe Park itself, where there's a yo-yo as to who is the real owner. We can sort that, traditional council that. Then the river banks for feet washing, people are building all over. You don't know where to go to wash your feet. The picnic grounds, some have been sold. And the matter of the Bojonuke and landing site have been sold to developers. Today I was there at the landing site, and it was tight, very tight, for the number of people. There are times I have come, we have about 5,000 onlookers. 5,000. But the land is being sold all over. So the landing prospect runs a risk now. If I were a millionaire, I'll buy all those properties, pull them down, then I'll develop something like Black Star Square for Tortsogbe over there. That is how it's going. And that's what we have to be thinking of. Then we come to financing strategy. Usually, the chairman of all subcommittees will constitute a steering committee in Sokpoe and Accra, respectively, before both combine into the Central Planning Committee. A bank account for Tortsogbe was opened at Ghana Commercial Bank at Abraka years ago. The objective for each year's celebration should be to return a net surplus credit which will be used to start the following year's expenditure. Thus, detailed and realistic cost estimates must be prepared at the onset using the previous year's cost estimate and actuals as yardstick. Sponsorship must be sought for each element of approved expenditure. This must cover the program, food and drinks, canopies and chairs, the merchandise, announcements, prizes and awards, the picnic, entertainment, medical outreach, torches, others. So you can see when you get to financing strategy, the Tortsogbe business is virtually a constant business. It's a business that somebody has to be thinking of throughout the year and developing new ideas, consulting, picking ideas from all they can solve. Now we are getting many Sokpoe citizens traveling abroad, living abroad. They would like to make inputs. They would like to make contributions. So how do you factor that in? So I don't see it wrong when we have a diaspora committee. If you have a Tortsogbe committee in the US, Tortsogbe committee in the UK, Tortsogbe committee in Australia, there's nothing wrong with it. And they can then send you things. Tortsogbe committee in Switzerland, in Holland. There are many Sokpoe citizens. Italy, they are there. So we have to look to catch them also. And then when we have the festival, now we can zoom the festival. You can zoom the festival. So they are not here, but they are crossing the river with us. They are not here, but they are the dance with us. They are not here, but they are the deba with us. So those who are technically savvy should get to know this. So the more sponsorships, discounts, and donations that are brought in, the greater the chance to return a credit balance. The question is where and when can these underwritings be clinched? Furthermore, there has to be a constant annual introduction of new income-generating concepts vis-a-vis income elimination concepts. So then, number 7, I come to sound critique. So I'll talk about so. Now, what I will do about so is that I will put so on the music and the dance on the electronics. Then I have huge billboards. So when you come to the park and you are dancing, you will see yourself on that park, on the board. But you'll be hearing the so music not from the traditional drummers, but you'll be hearing it from a USB, a big USB. And then you can dance and dance for even 1 hour if you want to. Because the so drummers, once they get tired, they're gone. I shouldn't be like that. I have always been dissatisfied with the people who obey your plan. So why don't you put it on USB? Then musketry. The musketry should come back. So that at least let's have 1 gun per clan. And then have a gun for the Apadada and a gun for Obega. Yeah. Then Saturday Deba, the chiefs are always late. See, it's wrong. We must learn to be on time, punctual. Then we close early, we can go and do something else. Then the welcome address is the fulcrum. The Tortsogbezans welcome address must be well researched by the committee. You must write a good stuff. So that, and then, as I said, you send it to the guest speaker 2 months ahead, and he will also do some research. See, if you're talking about a road, he may come and tell you by surprise that, oh, there's funding for your road, but somebody sat on it, right? And say, oh, you get your road next year. But if you send the welcome address to him 2 weeks before he comes here, forget it. Forget it. They don't have time 2 weeks to do anything. He'll come and tell you something wishy-washy. He will eat your food, sit in the vehicle, and go, chairman, the same thing. You bring in a chairman. Who's going to be chairman? So, then also, we must use Tortsogbe for commissioning projects. Give me now one, now more fire, Tortsogbe. You commission project, big computer center, open. Cottage industry, that's what we want.
Many baby are not petition. Let go to the over. Oh, Brother Babujo. Don't be that for no project that guy, no commission. No. Later, their first month they commission projects every year. And that brings socio-economic development to the people. Then the migration story I've told you. We migrated actually between 1580 and 1620. Mio Jojo Abba told Togoma, Penny, Abba, Eworyi. 1580, your Jacob. Around 1620. Togome, I'm going to provide the Pokuhan. If you told me at the latter, which I know me and go. Me Jababa, to Taja, Jabatato, Utomoke, Nyoko Boyama. I may have been Yana above you, or Ojo Fiola Banokapa. And the bay. And Lumaya, I mentioned one Masafu. Be Yantonuma, our epicacy. Be a petotro, that petrola. Mia Bubro, and Renana. Be Kamadodo, Anomia Macri, Amor. A Kamadodo, Anomia Macri, Fievieto. A Kamadodo, Ano, Yenami, the Abrodi, Sikaniva Hall, the Superimagine. Abrodi, the freedom and liberty which we created for ourselves. We should celebrate it. Those are the four things, which, in terms of the ideas. So, the Lolos moved in first, followed by the Javier, and then the Fujewi. And then with each refugee settler moving across the river, the Fieviers provided maximum assistance, including prayer and canoes. That's when Tortsogbeza was conceived and cemented. The paramount chief of Fievie traditional area was informed, and he granted permission for the festival to commence each year with prayers from the Akalo shrine in Fievie before the Sokpoe is usually led by Tortsogbeza and the Apadada, and the divisional chiefs say their own prayers, pour libation, and begin the crossing upon the time. So, yesterday, I was at Alolokoma for the waking. And then at 3 a.m., we moved to Ashi. We moved to Fievie. We went to the Akalo shrine. I was there. They did all the prayers. They moved to another section where the chiefs went to put their feet in the water river to cleanse themselves of this year's difficulties and sins and ask for God's blessings for next year. Then they came to Sokpoe to get ready for the cross. So this is it. So all his wishes are being fulfilled. And then of course we have all the displays with canoes. Now, we have been using canoes. Mila Tortsogbe. When you go to Thailand, and you go to Malaysia, and you go to China, and they're having their festival, all over Zatu, you're the Kusami, of how to know when of war. When you're getting a war, no blama, you're Pukas. Even the canoe, you can retain the old concept, but you change the design. And every clan must have its own color of a canoe to use on the lake. So when the chief is coming, we know it's blue is for this clan, red is for that clan, yellow is for this. You got to design it. And you know the linguists, Chami, what must? Just imagine what you done a wombo. You said, Mamma, you done a wombo. You know, I don't want to go to next year. I see how many will be done in war. People, and I oh, it is a one. Then the war where the job was done at the mother was a mono. And I come and play. I can't talk to trouble, just see your job fiberglass way. Fiberglass. Mama, Papa. Aluminium. That does it. And yet, we will be at the war. That every high. Much better. Yolama, Nanama. So, It's again, we use scarlet red now for the crossing. You're a blutobe kojan, you share kojan. Scarlet red and one makafo, one asafo. Which was so be a baby, I will not become a me. A become we call it. We don't change. That a command one safari choices. And Yaponto, then you be a toke. Yeah, a ball, Fumeton, Amada, what I think is a talk of me, alone, as a the time, you get a topo, at the door want to be a sea of bread. It's so beautiful. Then Yapon, if you have a design one, if you especially like alien on your way, and you don't do trousers, over the material is silk, acrylic, very nice, very beautiful. And come on, One Safo contribution or one as a bit of the time. When we decided to name some streets in Sokpoe after her prominent citizens, I personally named the streets from the main road across beside the St. Church to Caterpillar Road. I named it after Kuwana Safo, and I prepared a signboard myself and came and planted it. I understand it's been changed. We have to get another place for that one. Kuwana Safo Street, we must get it. We come to the Palanquin and Atumpani. Tortsogbeza, the first was always the only chief that was carried aloft in a palanquin to the Saturday Durbar, and he had a special session on the program to dance to Atumpani music and drumming, accompanied by various appellations. Following objections to the instrument of Tortsogbeza, the second, by the children of Tortsogbeza, the first, the services of the Atumpani drivers from Ahadokeme was withdrawn, and the palanquin was also hidden because, according to them, it had broken down. In 2020, I joined a number of concerned citizens of Sokpoe to raise the sum of 10,000 Ghana cedis to purchase a brand new set of Atumpani drums and accessories for Tortsogbeza. In 2023, I appealed to lawyer Eric Tree. Eric Tree's father comes from Abadoreji family, but his mother is a Ghana. But I appealed to him. He works with Access Bank, but he's a lawyer too, and a banker. And he donated 4,500 cedis for the purchase of a brand new palanquin for Tortsogbeza. This will be used tomorrow. Told the traditional council that in future we must, the Mangralo, the Apatata, and the divisional chiefs, as from 2026, they should all use palanquins when they are coming to. Because the use of the palanquins creates what is known in English as pomp and pageantry. Pomp and pageantry. It enhances the beauty and the regality of the function, instead of them walking like pedestrians. Then we have to develop it further that our paramount queen mother should also, by 2030, she should be in a palanquin. And then, after that, then progressively, all our chiefs should be carried in palanquin, all of them. By a certain year, and you will see the beauty of the arrival at the programs. So, I wrote something about the travel, but I'll leave that out. the annual and the biannual. So, the last point, number 12, let's go to point 12. The question I asked is, what has been the benefits of Tortsogbeza in Asante? What have been the benefits? So, my first point, Tortsogbeza has blended the mystique of the peoples of Sokpoe traditional area with the healing and protection power of the lower Volta River. The reach is holistic on the paternal and maternal sides, as well as those related to us through generational connections. Hence, the scarlet red is worn on Easter Friday in Sokpoe, Tefla Bume, Sogapoka Toglopo, Sasakoka, Dendo, Mafidove, etc. Even visitors from Accra come in their thousands. Number 2, Tortsogbe unites the people of Sokpoe and grants them peace. And so President John Dramani Mahama came to Sokpoe and described Sokpoe as one of the most peaceful parts of the Volta region. Tortsogbeza sets high standards for social event conceptualization, planning, coordination, directing, and organization. Then when we want to just say one cafe, then when we Tortsogbeza draws the map for community leadership. So if you see the map there, all those people there are people who you would have called leaders from Sokpoe. So he draws the map for community leadership. Tortsogbeza motivates Sokpoe citizens for infrastructural development. Yes, nothing here. You definitely know Tortsogbeza. No, Mama, give my secondary school. Never know your uncle. I made the big job. Let's talk about it. I saw the fuel. Let's see that. You know, Parana, you know. Hello, the president. But, that was what they were going to but that's all. Martin for us. That, when they invested in but you will invest in 1971, but 82, but you won't. And you get that as your promotion, but definitely not a sound. Maybe the couple, no, and yet, but don't, but down. We will find us to go. We never want to call it given and a couple. What to call women? Nothing is happening. If we were not to be celebrating this festival, there are many people who don't come home. Infrastructure development. Tortsogbeza says the need for economic development. We also want economic development. And this year, we're going to do something big with the chief. This year, next year, that will come. Tortsogbeza presents Sokpoe's role models to inspire the Sokpoe youth towards high educational achievements and the best emotional intelligence. Yes. So, people like Henry Akufo, all them, they are role models. It's Eworyi. We used to copy them. It's we like to do things like them, or even more. So it's only this through this festival that you see. Tortsogbe formed the launching of the Sokpoe Development Association, Sokpoe Youth Development Association, and the Sokpoe Ladies Club. Tortsogbe has contributed to the inauguration of the Sokpoe Traditional Council by the Volta River Chief and the Ministry of Justice. Tortsogbeza is doing a government recognized. And no matter how the traditional council donor, what can do tomorrow? Sokpoe was one of the first to be considered. If you go to Ho now, Sokpoe is number 1 because of our festival. People see it all the time. Through Tortsogbe, Sokpoe has earned tremendous respect from her neighbors of Tefla, Bume, Piete, Agata, and Maki. Because in their case, all their festivals are kaput. They are kaput. Because of the fact that the human element of negotiation and compromise, the human element of love, was lost in so many respects. But no matter how long they try, Sokpoe will always find to be Tortsogbeza reflections reveal the yearning gap in the need for growth and development there's a big gap for development that we have to fill. In spite of the fact that we made moves, but there's still a long way to go. And it's left to us, and we have to be honest with ourselves that we have a long way to go. My last point, Tortsogbeza is youth, happiness, joy, and dreams. We all must dream from God. Thank you. So, they have a lot of complaints, nonetheless, from the Sokpoe citizens that they want the festival to be much better. So, Tortsogbeza has constituted a committee, what I would call a reform committee. And the reform committee will be under my chairmanship, and the vice chairman will be Ajit Tiati from Bolomofeme. The other members are Mr. Emmanuel, David Kaka, Eworyi, Dr. George Osi Asafo, Mr. Ransford Kofi Loli, Madam Yavi Francisca Amaku, Madam Ruby Ajabe, Madam Gifty Ahalepe, and Madam Wina Eworyi. We shall start meeting next month, and we will issue a report and recommendation and action plans by July this year. And we'll take all the critics into consideration, but we'll also come to Sokpoe to listen to all of you. We'll go to the villages. We'll listen to the villagers also. We'll talk to Sokpoe who are living in Accra, Tema, and so on. And then we'll come out with a recommendation where we'll publish a draft. Everybody reads it. Then you can also make an input. We've been asked to add any more members to the membership that we want to. So it's it. But I think they should end it. Thank you very much.
Wow. We are a video. Questo è la versione 10 mio canale fu prospando. No abbiamo alla bine adulti. Non adulti. Da mare da question lesson passati che come che non abbiamo visto. Mi ha già siamo potuto sigare la quando si andiamo di uno si vie io le temo mai hala uno caca lo va ko subie ujo ni ya ko so ba ni kama find it difficult to reconcile that particular issue in a battle evelia if you display one at the line of display one the package of the call it was not a problem I have never covered when you had the academy. Thank you. All right. Then the third issue unity. What do we do? I didn't hear that. You better save your. We are not over to You are part of it, you have again. One of part of it. I think like 2014 or so. You know, if you get photo, how we can push. You all must agree. That particular festival, you want to go over there. At the end of the day, I'm very old and idea, man. Traditional cancer, or see, in Qatar, make the photo with Molia to be blue. They all ask how to yes. You buy the register. You register. Then the last one, and the card left from the living what question contribution. The way we talk about the planning committee, rumors, you know, who look at actually, I can't say that. What look at Toko, you call it Toko. Who can 50 Ghana citizens? I'm a 7 or 40, young 50 citizens. Kafla, and no, as you know, you're not on the wall. You were probably back at the concerning sanitation, communal. 50 cities are going to be well in Ghana. Because we make your work here. You put 50 cities now. If you go to the house, and you all, I don't even know system.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. With regards to the crossing of the river, with the Tortsogbeza itself, the Fiebres did not cross us. They say the prayers for us, and then they bring us to the riverside, and then they see us all. So we enter our own canoes, we do our own displays on the water, and we land. It's not Fiebres that brings us to the river. That's clear. But when you come to history, in terms of the Sokpoes who lived at Sokpoe and other areas that came to Sokpoe land, some were able to fashion their own canoes and move their personal effects themselves to the south. Others borrowed canoes from various citizens. They borrowed. And the Kenyans gave them out of love. And we have to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge it. But with the Tortsogbeza, everything we do it independently. We don't rely on them to bring us here. Is it clear? Yeah. So, and then the other issue about rumors. Yes, even when I served on the Tortsogbeza, there were rumors that I had misappropriated monies and that I left because of a fight over money. But at the time I handed over, we had a big credit in the bank in Accra, which I handed over. So I knew that some people were just engaging in mischief. It happens all the time in life. And if you are an adult and you are mature, you should be able to take these things. And if you can convince yourself that everything you have done is above board, then you don't want to be leaning back. Although I can say that the Tortsogbeza Planning Committee themselves should determine what kind of strategies they can use within the medium work to assuage people's minds and also deliver a message that the committee members are actually working sacrificially and that no one should spread ugly rumors about them. It's the committee chairman who should do that. But as adults, even in your own home, in your own clan, there are rumors about you. But if you want to be sensitive to each and every one, then I'm afraid you kill yourself. You should leave apart some of the rumors. That's my personal.
Okay, thank you. But I would like to hear questions on let's stay away from specific problems with specific festivals. This is about the history of Tortsogbe. Tabe, let's stay away from that. But there, what happened in the that question I don't know. Let go history and then say about 2 years and 20 years. Then you the man.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to touch on a lot of things. One very significant thing, the festival, Ikenye Aflaga Eno Nyamesanya Reketu presentation le apart we are to significance the festival at the village. Alebe every for the man. You are not all that happy about where the festival is now. I think you feel it should have been celebrated better than this. Would you ever know, would you suggest they near outsource the celebration of the festival? I stand to be corrected. Would you suggest, would you agree that we outsource the festival to give it a national, outlook and then, to be well, celebrated? Thank you.
Well, I can see a bank manager, see a mechanical engineer, I can see a retired dispatching executive, I should have outsourced. Make our own life. Yeah. Because if you outsource, the people who come will be the same. People with the same qualifications and experience as you are. You don't know, though. You don't know, we are there, we're working. Step over that. I'm a bully. See, can you not tell us if you go and I go away? We talk about them. No way. And then we talk about the come here, still to work at the Tortsogbe. You know, when I check out William Adamali, here was William Adamali, here is you, but to must be really so. So, associate, no, anyone that's a now, if you are when questions of the benefits of Tortsogbe, probably the positives outweigh the negative. The negative are not only about 3 points. That's about that. The point is, with every human being and every human activity, you are taught in school, in church, by your parents, never to be satisfied with the status quo. Whatever you have, don't listen. Try to improve upon whatever. Look for avenues to do something better. Plant a flower in front of your house. Make your window bigger for better aeration and ventilation. You see, so if our mates are appointed, and I also said that even the traditional council has appointed a committee for review. We will be talking to many people. But for me, I'm very, very happy with Tortsogbe. The history of Tortsogbe, I'm very, very happy with our achievements. I think the only flag that is involved is the flag from Sokpoe, which they display. According to them, they won that flag in a war. I don't think the war is a war that was initiated by Sokpoe independently.
or that it was a war they fought against an enemy that provoked them independently. I know the Tortsogbeza first as a young man. He fought in the Global War, but he was recruited by the British or the locals. Same thing. From Sicily, he fought as a soldier. They were all together at Sokpoe, also fought. All together, Sokpoe contributed about 100 soldiers to fight the Global War. So, Bolomon goes to fight, and they fight along Dachu, and he sees a flag. They burn a house, people run away, he sees an exit. It's a spoil of war. According to the rules of law, you are allowed to keep the spoils of war. You are allowed to keep it. So they bring it. It's significant, and I think it's a great moral booster for the people of If I were the paramount chief, what I would do, I would create a flag for myself as paramount chief, and I'll run the miniature of that flag on my car. Then I will ask every clan to create their own flags as a sign of symbol to go with the crest of their legal staff. When you do this, then you are enriching the cultural life of your people. So I've always said, flag, fine. Others too should have their own flag, created in a particular way, with a different color, different motifs, different emblems. It all has to draw it. Then the people who are behind see it as their symbol and as a unifying factor for them. I would ask everybody to do his own flag.
My battery is going down.
The Wigan should have it, Abadada should have a flag. In British history, all the Jews have it, the Dutchies. Every particular area, they all have flags. The French, the same, they have it. The Belgians, they have it. The Germans. Every small duchy, they have their own flag. Okay?
Yo, yang berjam apa itu? Bantuan ukuran apa popular pakai ini, dia minta bayar lah tu. Kerana tu mau itu macam pakai dia fast. Banyak ni cuma konten apa dia pasal itu sih yang mungkin. Orang dia mereka itu masih karena payah membuka kali, membuka saja pun gambar bukan dengan tujuan yang orang lain. Tapi dia kita ambil bukan orang lain dia, nah dia tu buat dia mesti berbohong. Aku.
Canada, also. Gabovare Portuguesa, Tanebe Mazdoro, Cotoqua. Okay, what we talk in there, that may be or trade Canada. Then you are to write it. Kakuma Globi. Let the Parola name, he never about the Baden. Kakumatiado will be now, Tortsogbe packet, play school your middle school pack, play primary school packet. Nan pare ma menya po. Then a matter go the president go sister Baba but the way you fight. Magemi. That you become an identity and Bongo way. We are never about the blood. If you know, be up there, tie you. You have a car, may have a tie you, car,
just 4 years ago died. Not your family. Me or mom go boy. Never mind that. If you don't know, that will not contract. What the foundation all day. If I had to come and feel a son, what the foundation begin. Be your mom other day. Put up on it to fall. Bomo, Elisha. You go for you must stop. Bomo, I'm not going to do your mother. You join patients that you walk with your father. I'm not very. I'm not back there. I'm not trying to be a baller. I'm not going to stop. I'm not trying to get a shortcut, lollipop. Okay, school market, Tortsogbe market, middle school market, Mapolo, pumping out a green grove. Mapolo, Mr. Abanobody, at the water. Yeah, people in Catholics, Abanobo, people of green grove, manager, and manager, sorry. And the area war, that packet, what was estimated? What you have a committee guy, 529,000 seats. 529. Okay, never before equipment to assembly. Over one other way. At the meeting. Then we feel I'm talking about like 1 million. 5 years time, 2 million. We have to do it. Then government is going to take a traffic that way. Banyak. I agree with you. Banyak. Suku Jawa Barat. Primary school Pak. Bukan ni anak sekolah Pak. Ini ada. Ini dia ni apa? 250. Ni anak 2,000. Dah Sokpoe. What benar? Anyway. Anyway, you the plans of okay. I would say estimately. Okay. That may be a high. Anyway, he said, yeah, even one of my food. So I went to Canada. Yeah, you're not allowed to go back. But I get out of him.
You are.
All right, so yeah.
You are for innovations your global to branding and all that. But we try the next year because SEC we exercise because once we get after the year, I'm going to one of the fiberglass capacity is a good idea. Please flag beyond that ordinary flag, you could say that for example, flag will never know that, and this is for having not to do that is a good idea. It doesn't never run out of zero. Can you not see the car? When you find out that when you not see the car, and you be let me just quick. You know, division of Gombe, we have Fuja, we have that, we have our 3 main divisions. Kaki. For example, we have Javio, aka who are related to Ajovio Malamai. We have Davia, we have Davia different. We have Fujiala, we have Fujiala different. Kakakana for migratory history, Eworyi, Eworyi, who Sokpoe or Sokpoe. Every Chinonwa, Eworyi. Eworyi, overground or I can go for Eworyi, your evaluated cruise. The way time you migratory history, to for the Eworyi. Kakafumo minye hafi iba to follow what coming allo for the abo minye the kobi ba garage or doing by particular to and how do you link that with the flag of the Fujama Gavana Burago in get me now sorry I'm a in your Fujami or the quick out the floor of those things are because by them won't colonize. Come home. That's a woman. Okay. That's the next year. For John, not ever this. They might not. For John, no. Very good. Pretty good. The Hawaii of a time. Allies, so you walk up with a car. They that ever this is here. I'm on a call of Tom ever. Ada koma dan kena enyajore aloroji javie yo ono kebe disepwe ozu allies o ya pa ya loro o mama ni no mo aloro la kama zoyi yo le omi zoyi to ta fifie kena javie mo wa ni ke javie kyo le pre o ha mi ba ho de ke mi ho de ko fe ga ha ba ga da en ma ta ba nya bi ke no nu mi ji o je be nyo ka ta mi asi alolo asi javie asi fo ja asi again geography good fo jawi Many different talk c'est le Tortsogbe. Faut dire Tortsogbe Tortsogbe. Si Tortsogbe, il y a du tout bazar. Le different. Ou non, different city. Alors mais on va mettre ici Dakar. Du bazar Dakar. Il y a du quotidien, et du phénomène. When of people with the color J, the color E, they were not identical twins. J to your drop of a foot, I drop on it, your foot. J to your foot, a foot J top. E to your foot, and they eat the flame. Clan like a foot, and clan the other foot. For you, what do we come of us to come up for you? That's one different. That's a comment. Okay. We are not when you're high. For the Lord, the song to Zoiba. Yes, so you know the song to Fujama. What the song to Jafriama. That it was fixed. And Mama Loba is allies. That kena national original SCB. I may have a close to you.
Dear the player, and decided or joy. Dear Vaname, say, when you be teaching up, group that can't be no. If I can't do it, pay. You are never sissy papa and designated. I'm not a sissy papa, I'll be my character. I'm here to have your joy. Go joy. Would you in order to what kind? Would you have a baby? You can do. I won't try my sister on my body. After the long time, with the cow who go as a time, and to get this one. Then you mix it, and for Jen, Jackie, me, say, I'm a lawyer, me on that. Kevin is to put it on. Jackie, what do you do with a car? Can we do fine? First group here probably not by the job. I can never walk at the master. Group at the cover. Rather than tell each other, okay? Then you check over the member. You are settled the cover. For Jeddo, and I forgot down the way, who settled that effort. Therefore, I tell you check now and you Gaki, for the way, here no, and you better on our way. A child money, a child, like a man. Down a perfect, but not funny. Yeah, open of you all that so pay. You're going to go. And you buy the mere book, next you join, but chore them on. That new food, and never join. I had to come a man on people. I had to come a talk. What the second group of us? I had to come a I think I'll be able to recover. We are settled within 20 years ago. Now, according to Ghana customary law, if any group of people live on the land which they till and they use for themselves, either as residential or for farming or whatever, and they use it unimpeded without paying fees to anybody for up to 15 years, that land becomes their bona fide property. Then they become part and parcel of Sokpoe. And nobody should ever say, oh, you people are not part of Sokpoe, you should be part of the no. After 15 years, they are part of you. That's the Ghana customary law. So, let's believe what you thought. You big, big trouble. Big trouble. Do you understand? So, yes. That's it.
Tortsogbe, Nemi, a Tortsogbe, Macabre, draft to a war ammo really badly and yet, you know, Tortsogbe, Macabre, for you, far because of matter, a Tortsogbe. Man, no big committee should consider me. Why you face another find out from history the culture against Ghana, the Alota Ghana, of Mama from the yes we talk of Ghana. No one complains the Tortsogbe and one different.
Okay. All right. Okay. Julius, when started to Julius Bill Committee, well, we know about much time about a bail or we go into the night, after the Seattle loss of Wallace Bay, every clan had their own drum. This year, the Poland the ball. Okay, if you okay, what gam chow gam le so quick gam gam. You go away. We are your lady. When you have a let me talk with latest two. The talk. Then you talk. What thing that will not say? What do you do about it? When you go away, what you have to do, and then you have to job, whatever. Okay, then what will not be? If you ain't a ball of over like me, I'm recording. I'll be the sentence of the way. Let me sound. Because of who are the literacy, not the people the literacy. Yet, I'm more who are getting a flagella over nutritional level. Your stamina, you don't have it. So, they always have a problem. Now, your committee and your opportunity and your recommendation, otherwise. Ako, yemi Tortsogbeza, the field is small. Kakamo small. Alemia will. The Mahadi become Tamajot. Then you will do it. A home kata lemia. Will have play. Will have rockata bow. Not bowing. Will have public stand by Blackstar Square. And will have where our toilet, flush toilet, no water. They come out all of the bobby kitchen, here or down there. We don't. I went a little one of a minute. And then you go away. I may walk the Rama, bring me Yaka Sagara. Gakenya Susan, a home your Lucifer, Japan, Japan store. A home of Catania, no, I get Tortsogbeza naming. Agora, ele não está até também de uma nova já, não, já do flowers, do green grass, quando é o panamá, não para ver then, you want to have stand up for more.
Apa, minha question, dia apa? Habis apa? Bangun minha.
Question about this back when you you are Ghana, broader Ghana, more and then Canada and the US, we do every association, but every major city. Seattle, that's September, first weekend of September, their conference. Different states choose them every year, and I'm a Seattle. So, questionably, I'm on one hand, getting a wall, advertisement and local operation, Louisiana, let me ask, I'm Canada, the US, merge.
Canada also with
advertisement who were Garoma programming adverts the Canada, US. US from East Coast, West Coast, because US then Australia, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland, Holland, Italy, Garoma, in the UK. So let me tell you, that opportunity is money. More what can get sponsorship, what can get advertising, what can get companies who for example, of they get Canada, the all the tire, they dispose of old tires of different sizes. Maybe get Canadians okay, we have a lot of tires on the money. We let it
well different. Oh, can cost a little. Yeah, there's so many things. But I'm not your lap, people also proud. Network, people also. Now, he's got a point. He's got a very good point.
Akọ̀rẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ bèbè gbèdé sọ́ọ̀rọ̀ yọ̀míyẹ bọ́à yóò lórí ẹ̀rọ ọ̀rọ̀ gàṣẹ́ ẹ̀yà tó lè yẹ ẹ̀sọ́ fún ti àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ gàṣẹ́ yìí tàbí àwẹ̀ tẹ̀tẹ̀ àwọn ẹ̀mọ́dé alẹ́kẹ̀lẹ́ bí alẹ́ yẹ ẹ̀mọ́tò lọ́dọ̀ báyìí náà fò.
Yeah, okay. Makanya maybe me utama ni kalau if you are going to be living a you talk, let them have a way, Mr. Basil. Come in around. Yeah, I'm going to get executive secretary program. They have the right time. They have to supervise my Tortsogbe planning committee. The development I want any executive group la Sokpoe. Tout la firme group. Be young man, especially when not retire, not la Sokpoe. Me here na group Now town and country planning is super. I'm a Bama Tom. It's called a field in Yaman. In Yanabadas Kenya to sanitation team. Amadas Kenya to security and defense. Amadas Kenya to education. It's a matter. About Sokpoe municipal chief executive officer. Officers they have. Then the one of the traditional council for her. The only thing the best is that Jacob. Section I'll be one more man. I'll be me or Deba. Natural woman and a Siam. La Porona, they down here. What to call for Frank? Lollymore. It's a joke. It's a joke. Lollymore, no. It's not existing contact value. You know, what I'm to what air condition you know, it's a good one. But if you want to go, the chiefs cannot do it. We have to find the time. So that those of us who are retired, we have to find time, constitute the committee, and do it. Then those who come after us, they join us, they see the plans, and then they follow up, they add to it, they create. Then I'm not going to be the plans and go down. Don't you have a dollar man? Maybe not be at the dollar bank, Alonia organization, let's say, Unaka, then the boy on them here, the poor, then wow, development model. What if so many? Now, and ya lemon point, when discussing them by the power, what does it? That only be me, I can say, I give me a Tortsogbe.
For your own questions, after prosper, and plan to where we see welcome to our one company. Last year, was a Savior, the So, in fact, this year, we're going to grow. I'm going to show you when I was 2019. And you're way after doubling.
Probably traditional area, is that traditional area. Me, the Tortsogbe 1961, at the wedding, over black home. At the end of the tree, probably economy, my traditional area, Nabaya, aquarium, and I talk complications to our bed. And I talk about some bed. Let me know what I'm going to do. One man on son. No one invite me. Kakemia can invite over a fear. No, I don't hear to me the on the body. Over fear gun. But don't be aware of me to talk again. Over man club, in your chairman. Sorry, any guest of honor. I come on, Kakela, I didn't be on Tomianumiasa, the flat, not Bobasa. Here at Bobasa. Kakawa, Nami, invitation, new American white, or mere individuals are on white, and then Yen Poquema. And don't he, and Tortsogbe, Yoni Gallo, a father Carlo, here, but develop. I never go there. And possible we want a joint celebration of a sort in Miami. Kakaleb Bamala, Makale, Mata, Abraham, Anya Bemia way independent. Don't go to me. organization behind to carry out. It's very complex. That anyone when Sokpoe fear here, it will be a help of that for the time being. Yeah, oh yeah, where do we get here? Yeah, that because of the year that we have only buy coffee, hopefully no other one also. But me and Carol walking from the so I'm walking on which I go out with everything do better than yeah. Nigeria was 2017. Yeah, the Magdalene Nigeria, Fidago, by the Taro of Egypt. Yamachuma Fidago by Nigeria, Lagos. In the Zibango, Kukana, Niti, then ya English, when you see Banco time, the double door, but then the back Kapal dia English juga. Dia bukan apa ni? Dia bukan juga dah siang moga, kami osok le, kio le ye English tay, nak ada mah atu kaba. Kita pada tu banyak. Tay ada nama kio. Ku bukan kau jangan kau baik Nigeria kau le English betul le. Lima dua dia kemana tu ni? Awak Nigeria kau ni. Ada nama tu ekip A, kalau bukan, kita pernah nampak dia logo. Ini yang nama kio Malaysia, punya pasport. Joko ibu kau ni, baik pun nama security ada airport. Punya bukan dia punya pasport. Kau bukan terima, kau ada yang film. Joko punya pada presiden Robin di lembaga negara Nigeria, bagaimana? Jangan macam, jangan tahu banyak. Pasport yang lasi, jangan pasport yang lasi jadi negara itu. Kalau kata-kata menjaga apa betul itu kita pada Nigeria. Ini betul. In fact, question orang dan juga yang dia di form orang betul Egypt pada Nigeria. Yang apa? Alu dapat darah sendiri betul Egypt pada Nigeria. Bukan berapa kamu ni. Untuk minyak security tu alio ni kamu ni berpusingnya. Yo, kau je pasport itu, uang mudah terba.
tu vas quand il va être voir ou la question va qu'il y a pas de choses de nous taille bien ta on va dire que on va tout quoi on pas de passeport les deux des madame on va lui mari gamaye ameye on va y on va continuer nous kanya enya ni ko konye koy ubi Nigeria to many ede ni masipo ta ubi Nigeria to many mo be no Nigeria ye masiba Ghana ba for Ghana passport abi Ghana to many ye be tro kwa ma Ghana Nigeria enya mo nya 2017 March enya e origin enya mo ko le no ye do mo to me wo to be drive out to ba konye le ko te nkoy ro ko le ko koy ubi Nigeria to many eta akademi le mo ji ye kwa e ko be o e gbe fi da gbe ni da ko sala gbe ma ti de mai ko ni ko to ha ni mai ko ni ko to ye ya ma ko ni mai ko ni ko to e ko mo e me ko ni ko to ara ka na ni ya ko o ga de ko ko to ka ta ko igana e me ko le mo me ni ya to me ta ga na to ma wu la ga we ba tro ko na ba tu mi ba ga la immigration ko ga ko ya passport ko no mare the immigration. We are more pastor than one. Oh, my in-law, no water. You can't do that. As if it's you me. And the sort of Calabar. Now, when you're pointing about a Calabar, I don't know when you're in. Yet, I don't know if I'm going to come to do so. You may not, and the man and the man who still ran away. I don't know you want to call it the Paladian that you are going to Calabar over here. Quindi mangiare e poi attaccano un po' sta mangiando di mangiare noi e deve come del ya che mi mangiamo gama ye o tu capi di valore le priorità e dello scopo che le ispiro come tu come dici bala se non sta ma carichiamo sia le sono le tu nel momento sta a toccare per dare lo stamina e va bene le mie jadi kan susah, ye, kena, we yang apa, jelas ni. Amak buat apa?